Qatari embassy. That's it. And the photo took, and that's a very clean dog. And thus we hosted four phenomenal individuals. US diplomats Samantha and Victoria, and Qatari artists and my good friends Fatma and Salman. That kind of people. Yeah. Yes, it is the 4th of July, and we are in our foundation. So we will take Samantha and Victoria as our guests. So let's start off with Victoria, introduce yourself, and then we go to Samantha, and then Salman.
So much for having me and having Samantha and bringing all the time with us, and to all of our hosts here in Education City. My name is Victoria Nguyen. I am a U.S. diplomat. I represent the United States and work here at the U.S. Embassy in Doha. I arrived about 1 month ago this week, and have already enjoyed exploring Doha, exploring Qatar, getting to know people, and I will be here for about 2 years. So looking forward to a lot more of that. Originally, I'm from a town called Marblehead in Massachusetts, which is in the northeastern part of the United States, which has a lot of history related to Independence Day, which is one reason I'm really excited to be here.
More clarity later from you. I don't know a lot from that in Myanmar. I've heard that he's already scaled every mountain there is in Doha. I think. And love that. Let's go to Samantha.
Assalamualaikum. Bismillah. This is Samantha Jackson, or I'm going to pronounce it. My name is Samantha Jackson, and I'm a U.S. diplomat at U.S. Embassy. So I'm delighted to be here to be on this panel with you and folks, and also happy to celebrate the 50th anniversary of U.S. diplomatic relations with Qatar. And it's just an honor to be here also on the 246th independence anniversary of the United States of America. So happy 4th of July to all of you out there that are celebrating, and thank you all for being here today with us on this big meetup. Before I talk more about what I do specifically at the embassy, I want to talk about work that I did before. So prior to becoming a U.S. diplomat, I was in the financial sector, and I was working at Goldman Sachs. And then prior to that, I was in school. I did my undergraduate degree in New York at Columbia University. Afterwards, I went on to pursue a master's degree, 2 master's degrees after that at Brown and back to Columbia University. And so what really inspired me to pursue a career in diplomacy is hearing from diplomats. And that brought me to where I am today in Qatar. Prior to being in Qatar, I was in Indonesia. And so I'm really happy to be here in Qatar, the hosting nation for the 2022 World Cup, FIFA World Cup. I'm excited to explore more about Qatar, and I guess I'll leave the rest for later on.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to answer all my questions already. Can you name Salman?
Hello. Yes, so my name is Salman Hamad Al-Hanabi, a citizen, and I guess I can call myself a film worker, filmmaker. I'm a Cuban in Doha Tribeca Film Festival.
Everybody's speaking my language.
Yeah, so yeah, we met in 2009 when we were volunteering for the Doha Tribeca Film Festival, and that was my entry to, let's say, the film world, film industry, especially in Qatar. And since then, I moved from, participating in the film festival to actually making films with my fellow filmmakers, short films mostly. We won a few awards for these films. Obviously, these are shorts, not major productions. But since 2009 until 2017, I've worked in film. And I guess I'm here because after 2017, I moved to Chicago, United States, to pursue a degree in cinema. And I guess I'll talk more about that.
It's not 20 years.
I'm just used to community value. Everyone here is so professional. So,
Then I was going to say, I met again, another American from cinema. It was that group. I'm not seeing Robert Neal in that. Yeah. And I met someone as he put volunteer. Volunteer is such a lovely aspect to have in your curriculum time. Having said that, I'd like to move on to a lovely Fatma. She is now part of the meetup family. This could possibly be the fourth time she's on the panel, virtual and physical. And we'd love to know more about her and her American influence and Qatari influence.
Thank you, Boston, for having us. Mr. Respondent, here. My work involves around my character and African American most people have contributed. So I kind of combined both of this together. I took part in the our station. I graduated from BC first at the ISCT, New York. So that's part of the tradition in BC.
Let me know more about that. Victoria question from
I have to Berkeley. When was your exhibition in DC? Because I think I saw your work there. That was one of the last things I did before I left to come here. And I read it before you even knew you. Amazing. Thank you also for introducing me to this artist that I'm fan of.
It's all about bringing communities together and making so yes. Let's go back to Victoria. Let it be you, Victoria. You're a new people, huh? Yeah, but that can you shed light on the 4th of July? You're entrenched in the 4th of July spectacular. That's so special about 4th of July to me.
Sure. Well, first there's the actual historical event that the 4th of July in the United States celebrates, which is not important to every single American or special. It's just a fun day off to spend with family and friends, and that is completely fine too. But where I grew up in Massachusetts, which was one of the 13 original colonies, and was a place where very many important events in the U.S. Revolutionary War against Great Britain took place. The historical sites from that time period were all around me, and my parents really brought me up to appreciate that relevance in my history, and a very big part of my school was going visiting battlefields and important historical sites. So the actual Independence Day, 4th of July, commemorates the adoption of a document called the Declaration of Independence, which declared that the then nascent United States, that the British colonies in the Americas would be independent from Great Britain. Did not want to be colonies anymore. And I've always found the stories behind it very interesting. There's a lot of movies and books about it, partly because these men were imperfect people, to say the least. And it was an imperfect document, and many of them hated each other. They had deep cultural and political and spiritual differences from one another, and they fought each other tooth and nail while they were developing this document. And they represented colonies that are not too far apart in today's terms, but at the time they had very different economies, different cultures, different goals, but they somehow managed to represent their different communities and work together in overcome their differences to come up with a document. But again, a document that was not perfect. It did not really think about the needs of women or of the enslaved people who lived in the colonies at that time, for example, to say the least. But it was a really beautiful document, a declaration of fundamental human rights and independence, and the right for people to self-determine their government and what they wanted to, what kind of government they wanted to live under. And that started the Revolutionary War, which led to the birth of my country. And so actually I grew up in a house that was, is now over 250 years old. I grew up in my hometown is a very well preserved colonial community. So that history is really right when I walk down the street, and that's what it's about to me. These days, you know, it's not all serious reading important history textbooks. We also barbecue, go to the pool, go swimming, spend time with family and friends, of course fireworks. And my hometown of Marblehead has an annual arts festival every year that I really, really enjoy. Local artists and artists from all around the New England region of the United States come to display their work. There's different bands and musicians come and play, and it's really a fun
Previously,
That is where Patriots are from.
I would like to ask a question to Victoria. Sorry, to
Yes, for me, the 4th of July is a special day in our nation's history. And as I said earlier, today marks the 246th independence anniversary of the United States of America. But more specifically, what the 4th of July means to me, right? July 4th, 1776, it also marks a time for Americans, Americans in the United States and Americans living abroad, a time for reflection. What do I mean by a time for reflection? A time to sit back and to think, amidst celebrating, a time to sit back and to reflect and to think about sacrifices that maybe those troops or soldiers have made, sacrifices that founding members of the United States of America made, also sacrifices that my ancestors made to build the nation that is so great today. Aside from reflections, I think also the history of 4th of July also symbolizes a moment for us to recognize the imperfection and to seek, as someone very famous said, to create a more perfect union. And so the fact that our democracy allows for us to debate, allows for us to reflect, allows for us to come together and to congregate and to put our best imaginations and ideas together, and then to come out with something that will, be a masterpiece, I think is important. I think it's really important also for not just Americans, but for young people in growing and developing democracies all over the world to aspire to see that they too can make a change and make an impact. As my colleague Victoria mentioned, the men who created the Declaration of Independence, signed it, they were not always in agreement. There was a lot of debate that took place. And so I think what's really important is to understand and to share is that the history of the United States of America began with the audacity of hope. It began with having an idea. And for everyone in this room to relate to that, is just imagine a time you had an idea, something that you really wanted to pursue. It seemed impossible. It seemed like it was something unattainable, that was very difficult, right? And you didn't want any obstacles to stop you from getting there. Well, imagine back in 1776, these men coming together that were, colonies being ruled by a distant king, a distant monarch, and just didn't want to deal anymore with tyranny. And so folks came together and said, we're going to create something new. So connecting that history of the United States of America, 4th of July, 1776, and really letting it relate and resonate with yourself, whether you're from the United States or not, I think it's really important because we all can relate with independence. We all can relate with wanting something more, wanting something better. And because of my ancestors wanting something better, I'm here today as the first person in my family representing my country, the United States of America, as a diplomat, as a government official. And so I'm thankful for that. I think it's also a moment for huge thankful and showing appreciation. And as Victoria mentioned earlier, there are so many different ways of celebrating. You can have celebration with fireworks, you can have celebration with, just get family coming together, having family time. As people would say in Qatar and connecting, I think it's really important. So families, ties, being together, connecting and communicating, showing respect to our troops, and anyone who has given service, public service. I think another thing that is really important to mention is the essence of public service. What does that mean? Understanding that there's a greater good besides just what you want, but a greater good for your community, your household, your family, your state, your country, and putting sacrifices out to bring that to fruition. So in a nutshell, this is what the 4th of July means to me, from my understanding of it, celebration of it. And I'm hoping that you all today will be able to resonate and find something, whether you're from the United States or not, being able to connect with the ideals of having an idea and bringing it to fruition and love of country, patriotism, and I think community will be important.
Very big message. Did you say audacity of hope? That was a beautiful sentence. I will print it off. Someone, can you get the next one?
You were quoting one of your teachers, that's the President Obama line. I think that's the name of one of his books. Is that how you put you're building on giants, I love it.
You get educated every day, don't you? Someone, believe in our chats over a couple of days, you told me that you experienced 4th of July or May 4th of July. Can you elaborate?
Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Especially about the Western Hall resonates with me. But when talking about the experiencing 4th of July, of course, I lived on in Dhaka, and the way previously I was experiencing it through the American media I was consuming, talking about the talk shows, the SNL, all these specials that used to happen because of the 4th of July, and then it was always like an external experience, experiencing through the media. But then when I moved, I got to see how people actually celebrate it. You mentioned the barbecues, the celebrations. It became more of enjoying each other's time, and actually, it's to me it felt like okay, everyone's enjoying the fruits of their ancestors' labor. Like yes, they worked hard, they went to the monarch at the time, and now they're quickly celebrating freedom, the value of freedom is the audacity that they said we're not going to do this anymore. Now everyone's enjoying their time. And you mentioned the fireworks, I got to see that, and it's a different way of celebrating than what I'm used to. Usually, for example, when we have our National Day, we're going to. I mean, this is not system of anything. It's just that okay, what we do here is there are these events that are organized by companies or whatever, but like, everyone's doing their own thing. And that was to me like really beautiful. I got to meet a lot of people in the streets of Chicago. Everyone from on the streets and say hi to everybody. It was really good. It was of course generally positive experience. That was a lot of fun. And I was going through old pictures and videos, and there was this video I had of the skyline of Chicago just lit up by all these fireworks. It was really beautiful. So that's my experience. Fourth of July in the US.
I think it's really beautiful and also the movie shows those people that have fireworks and especially that's like I feel like going with lessons experience.
Thank you. Salman, could you give me some insights into your life in Chicago? You studied at before you
Yes. So I moved to Chicago. I was enrolled at DePaul University, one of the large universities in Chicago, and of course the atmosphere is completely different than what I'm used to here. I get to Chicago is located in the Midwest, so you get to meet a lot of people who are from all around the U.S., especially the Midwest states. To me, that was a new experience. Usually, when I'm from Qatar, all what I know about the U.S. is just like the two far side cities, New York and California cities, and San Francisco and Los Angeles. So you get to meet people from like Indiana, Michigan, and all these types of places that I never knew about before. I mean, yes, I know them by name, but like I got to see their customs, their culture, they always tell Midwest people that are very nice, and I got to experience that Midwest nice. Um, so Chicago for me was a unique experience because it reminded me of how because of it's so culturally diverse. It is in one of the U.S. major cities, But it's because it's located in the Midwest, you got to see cultural differences from all over the US. You got to see people, I mean, in my classroom, I was noticing how people have different opinions depending on where they're from. Um, as well as Arab people and people from all over the world. We're coming to Chicago. Of course, it's one of the major cities. There's a lot of cultural diversity. So that's one of the connecting points that I noticed how even in Doha, you get to see a lot of people from all over the world. And this is something that I also reflected in Chicago. And one thing that was really unique. So in Chicago, you had kind of, yeah. So you have the, you know, remind me of the park here, how you have like a city on the waterfront. So that was something that I really liked. It was something I could relate to. I think there's a lot of things I'm just rushing back, but
We'll take your time.
yeah,
No, we'll come back to you.
yes.
The visual artist, maybe see some visual reading next time. Okay. Before that, we'll come back to you. Know more about Chicago. You ask me, you know, you here.
Yeah. This is a very large.
Absolutely, yeah. Of course, let's come back to home. One of the reasons I love this year Qatar is because it is a lovely student center. And I always want I would be near a student center. Have you heard of alumni of QF? Can you give insights as to how it is to be a QF student? I'm so proud of you being you've been here this much this what 5 years ago as a student.
Or even more. I was here in BC, like the beginning of so it's like kind of it's exciting to see how these things, how things are involved, especially now there's these everywhere. And the thing about QF is so diverse and we get like such a wide variety and great to see that.
I need school here and universities, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and it's like such a lovely way, George, see,
Thank you, man. Talking of IDB, we have another person here who's done 3 degrees. I'd like you to explain how you did that to be inspired from people here from student center. How do you manage that, Samantha?
Thank you. Yes, as I mentioned before, yeah, I did graduate from 3 Ivy League institutions, and and I give thanks. But the person that I give thanks to the most is my mother. I'm a child of an immigrant, and so my mother, being from the Caribbean, really instilled in me the importance of education. And I think it's also a very special thing when you come from a place where you may not have many opportunities, and then you migrate to another location where you are just inundated with, right? Opportunities being opportunities being. You start to think and to reflect, wow, I want to be able to have this. And so I think being the only child of my parents, my mother was very keen on excellence in education. And she's very keen on just pushing me to just max out on opportunities. And so when I would, start looking at colleges, and she would really focus on the best of the best. And that was Harvard, the Princeton, Columbia, Brown, and really focus on that. And I think that instilled in me the pressure that I needed to be great and fulfill this expectation. And so, being in New York, where I'm from, originally from Brooklyn, New York, Columbia University is right there in New York City. And I love home, and I wanted to experience that Manhattan life, if you will. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much. I've had so many opportunities that I never thought that I would have. In terms of just being in classrooms with folks that were just, you thought you were great, just thought you were great, just being, it really humbles me, really humbles me, just to see just the greatness around me. And I don't even know, I'm a Christian. And so, yeah, I always say when folks ask, how are you able to, go to these top schools, how do you manage 3 times? I give credit to the things due, so, to the Most High, and also to my mom for the same that to me, my father as well. But really having that push and family support to propel you to be your best. And sometimes we can be our hardest critics, and so believe in yourself. But to go ahead and to answer your question, I did perseverance. There's lots of challenges, it's not easy. You feel athletic scholarship, and knew that I wanted to pursue international relations, conflict resolution, negotiation. Took courses that were going to propel me towards that in undergrad. Took internship opportunities, really connected myself with a sisterhood, sorority, with mentors, with people that were going to propel me and support me along this way. And of course, you're going to have naysayers, you're going to have people that are going to put barriers and challenges in front of you. But the real test in life is how do you come up from that challenge? Do you wither away and say, okay, I won't be able to do it? Do you listen to the naysayers that are not optimistic, don't believe in your capability, or do you try to persevere? And so I think just having that, even though there were days that are challenging, having that as a backbone and to feel comfortable enough to know that I would be pursuing something that knowing my family, in terms of identity, had really made me want to push harder. And so with that, I'd like to end on that note. I believe that as we climb, we need to lift. Lifting as we climb. What do I mean by that? As you take an opportunity, as you receive an opportunity, as you take advantage of opportunities, I believe how I was raised, it's really important to give back to your community, to give back to help others, help the youth, and to share that the knowledge that you've gained through the way, through your path and your journey with others. And I think that by doing that, you get blessings back. And so the most important thing for me was public service, community service, speaking with young people, encouraging them, helping them with college applications. And I think just having that mentality, having that practice, really just push propel me to want to do more. Not just serve community, but serve community. Thank you.
Any schooling that, since you said Caribbean, any single schooling that?
Yes, you nailed it. Yes,
Okay. Let's go back to Victoria. What are you doing what you learn? Yeah. Which moms at this stage?
Well, I've only been here 1 month so far, but I have been, and I've been fortunate to be really busy at work because the U.S.-Qatar relationship is such a rich and developed and important one, which I really appreciate. So there's always something to do. This is my 3rd time in Education City in a month for work reasons, and I got to meet students and instructors and members of the community here. But also in my free time when I'm not working on U.S.-Qatar relationships and doing diplomacy and answering emails and all of that, I really try to get out and meet locals, both Qataris and expats, and appreciate the culture here, the rich history and heritage, and also the youth honor. And so this past weekend, I visited the fire station where I previously visited, which was very cool. And I saw Musa Albani's exhibit, which actually has a lot of art about his travels in the United States, which was really neat.
It's funny that he was supposed to join up and he had been on the leading up to his COVID.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see your country or your culture through the eyes of someone who came to it as an outsider. And I've always really appreciated seeing my country reflected through others' experiences as a visitor. And then I've also, one of my favorite things I've done so far was I went kayaking in the mangroves at sunset, and got to watch the beautiful sunset in the water, and I got to hear the birds and see the fish, and I went on Purple Island, and that was really, really nice.
Have you done this in the US?
I think, oh yes, I think like in
Language in the US?
neighborhoods specifically, I don't know if we have those.
Hey,
Well, in Massachusetts, I like to go kayaking in the ocean as well. I kayak in my hometown of Marblehead out in the harbor, which is really beautiful. It's very different type of nature.
what would you say people come for the World Cup from the US game? Because that's what we work for 4 months from now, and what are the tickets?
I have tickets. I do have tickets to a few games, and I'm very excited to attend. That was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to come work in Qatar in this time, because I thought this was going to be a really exciting moment for this country, and I wanted to be part of it. I would say, specifically for Americans who want to visit, first of all, sign up for the STEP program from the Department of State, where you can register your travel information, and if there's any sort of emergency or important information that you need to get, via the US Embassy can contact you at plug. And also, of course, all of the US embassies will have social media channels for important updates about how to have a safe and enjoyable visit in Qatar. But okay, now as a human being taking off my different hat, I really encourage people to come. I think it's a beautiful country, beautiful culture. I think you come informed and with your eyes open about the differences and the different expectations and legal situations between our countries. And if you come prepared to listen and to learn, then you'll have a good time.
So my yeah, like I said, we have 50 years of cultural friendship exchange with Qatar. What is your take on any particular exchange with Qatar and the US in the past? In your short time of your career?
You know, rather than pointing to one big event with lots of, flashy celebrities or Olympics of art, I would say it's an individual person-to-person interactions. The faculty students who come to the United States every year, hundreds every year, to study at a US university or to do an exchange program, whether that's for a semester or just a few weeks or a few days, who get to meet Americans and make those real individual connections and get to share a little bit of African culture and with our Americans and get to see American firsthand. I think that's the real achievement. When I'm in the public diplomacy section, that's what I focus on. Because I believe diplomacy and is really also, it's not about politics, it's not about governments, it is sometimes, but ultimately it's all about people. And so I think that's the most important part of our relationship.
Like waking minutes, reading Jack Sparrow.
The real taxpayer? How?
Who's in the news couple of months?
From time to time.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's go back to anything you like to add about your culture? Could you be here longer? And what is your take on your bright spots on Qatar USA friendship?
I would definitely say the year of culture. So in 2021, the United States of America and Qatar celebrated the year of culture. And as you know, the year of culture is an opportunity that the Ministry of Culture puts together with the government of Qatar to specifically celebrate culture of each different nation. And so in 2021, when I arrived, it was the year of culture in the United States. And I was tasked as the lead at our embassy for the year of culture. So what that meant was I worked with folks who were working on beforehand. Tracy, for example, was here. Shout out to Tracy, who works really hard at our embassy to make everything possible. I worked on helping to bring American citizens as our special envoys to come out here and do special performances, whether we were going to have folks that were part of the hip hop group to do a cultural performance. We had a fashion designer come out, we had scientists come out. And the idea was to have, as Victoria mentioned, people to people engagement, cross-cultural exchange. The female football team that's going to the United States.
From the US football team that came to do on the big earlier this week.
Oh, I actually don't.
That was a wow factor. I think it was proud when seeing the US football team go on play in Qatar.
Definitely, definitely. Speaking of football, or soccer, we're having,
Football.
we're actually also having, an exchange, sports and soccer exchange program, where we're going to have 8 pathetic females travel to the United States for an exchange program, and they're going to be there for about 10 days. They're going to visit the west coast of the US, and they'll have the opportunity to participate in the soccer clinic, to engage with community members. It's about women empowerment, empowering women to have conversations about where they see themselves in sports and beyond. And so we're really excited for that. Starting in September
This year,
this year.
talking of really defining national female tennis player like Mahmoud Naeem. She's the number one female tennis player and she's a speaker for families as well. Thank you so much. We've got lovely Mariam and so many lovely guests here. Questions for me? We have a question. What think about it? Raise your hands. Yeah.
So one background here, I work as a host at the corporation, and keeping culture, and also the reason we got in touch was I had a lot of digital finance. And okay, so first question is going to be what do I have to do to force either one of you, convince either John here or Dave Chappelle, or both of them to come on here, because like, come on. That's the one. And number 2, I'll just throw that in there. Growing up, understanding the history or the nature of the people has been like, all right, you've got the media, you've got your books and whatnot, but in order to actually understand and feel truly what people are, you meet them or you visit them. So recently I got to go back to I was born and raised there. And one of the strangest things that I did not anticipate was to constantly hear local music. It feels like home actually, much simpler. So, what is it that makes you feel home away from home? Because the American culture is also partially global culture, right? So, my question to both of you would be like, what is it? Is there something small factor that actually just like throws you back? And so, both questions, and I'm done.
Okay, which one do you want me to answer first?
I don't have my layers from the first, so I don't know if you do.
I have the agent for it. I'll answer your second question first, if I may. So the question the gentleman asks is, what is it that makes me feel like I'm home when I'm away? I think it's an excellent question. I think one of the big things as human beings that we all can connect on is food and taste. And there are many American restaurants here in Qatar. Not that I frequent them because I want to be able to expose myself to other different cuisines here. But 2 big things I'll say is American food, but also music and culture. So I mentioned earlier that we were celebrating the Year of Culture in 2021, the entire year, and we brought a hip hop group here. We also brought a jazz band here. And one of the things that I really love about my nation also is that our music, right, American music, has really touched the globe. There's not one country, and I'm ready to debate with anyone for this, there's not one country on this earth where I could say American music has not penetrated, right, the society and the culture. And when I hear of concerts, whether it's Jennifer Lopez here or others that have come here to sing and to perform and to share their culture, I think that our culture is really important, and that makes me feel at home. I'm in New York City, and also to add to that, the universities. We have so many American universities here, and we're here in Education City, right? And just to see the familiar names, right? Texas A&M, Georgetown, Northwestern, BCU, you name it. We have a number of universities here. And I think seeing that, right, represented visibly in front of you, hearing like the music on the radio stations here, turning on the TV and turning to different, into the news and hearing about what they're talking about American culture and its impact here during the year of culture and after, through legacy programs, really makes me feel at home. But the most important thing I would say is day-to-day conversations with companies and others who really build this economy. Migrants from all over, so not just companies, but folks from all over that are in Qatar, and having conversations with them. And hearing from many of them, oh, I've traveled to the United States, I've been to Chicago, or I've been, and just that conversation helps to remind me too of home. But, and lastly, adding to that, before Victoria goes, is one of the things that I feel that many of us are going to speak for all diplomats is not so much the focus of trying to remember home, but really to immerse yourself in the culture that you're in. And so we may have an infatuation to, okay, this reminds me of home, I'm excited about this. But my goal as a diplomat is not too much to be too reminded about home. I am here to serve my country, yes, but to build a stronger, more sustainable relationship with the host country. And so meeting people and having day-to-day conversations like we're doing now is really important. And to me, that's bringing home.
Great. So, bring home. Bring that part of home, that's a good part of home. Thank you.
Maybe you should tweet out.
I don't, at the end, clear everything. That's one thing.
Well, and no, I agree. I can't promise you Dave Chappelle or John Mayer that, I was really, I was Samantha who had such a great answer. I was also thinking about how I can answer that question, what makes me feel far away. And I chose to travel around the world in my career. And I love that. I love learning about other countries, but I will never forget where I'm from. I have it's very small, you can see it right on the U.S. map and Amazon. And I don't wear it every day, but I do like to get close to my heart. And I think, especially when I hear English all around me, but English from all around the world, because English is not just an American language, right? There's Pakistani English. I've been learning a bit of Philippines English while I've been here, which is not the same as American English. And I do hear American music. I think I really carry a bit of home with me because, like President Biden of the United States used to say, America is an idea, more than a piece of land, a set of shared history or culture, or certainly not any particular religion or ethnicity or subculture. It's such a diverse country. What is actually uniting is the idea and our set of sort of political values. And I do carry those with me. And so when I am dealing with a challenging situation, I'm not sure how to handle it, or I'm trying to figure out my position. When I draw on my upbringing in those values, and I draw on my values of diversity, of debate, of free expression, just when I find myself in a difficult spot and I instinctively reach for a response in my heart from the values that I was raised with, that's when I suddenly feel like a little piece of America. I think more so than any cuisine. Because honestly, like the most American food that I miss here is actually Mexican. There's some decent tacos here. Nothing like that.
Yeah, you have a lovely question. What with John Mayer? Have you heard Vincent? He's actually really good. You need to get Nick Lender. Not really John Mayer, you need Vincent. So we have a lovely question from Maria here.
It's really for you to speak Arabic language. When you go home and you finish the work, what will you take home with you about the culture? And as you know, the media tries to sometimes say bad things about something. But what will you take home good about Qatar?
It's an excellent question, And it's connected to one of my passions is to dispel stereotypes that folks can have, right? All over the world. And to answer your question, when I leave Qatar and I go back to the United States in preparation for my next tour of duty, what I'll bring with me is, besides the memories and the abaya that I've bought, but I bring a piece of Qatar with me that would be visible. What does that mean? So I'm here learning my words, and I think also when people see that we are diverse visually, right? With your clothing or with, when you're speaking, you're talking about, when you're referencing, I don't know, a place that you visit. I will talk and share my experiences about the companies Qataris that I've met, right? People from the region that I've met and the great experiences that I've had. Also, if I do come into conversation where I'm hearing people that are saying things that are not correct, I will stand firm to talk about my experiences and how what I know from visiting that place, from visiting others, and speak highly about my experiences. This is a wonderful nation, and people may have stereotypes because of the fact that they have had childhood, right? But what they know is from the media or from what someone else told them, and they really don't know. So, like many folks in Qatar who have spoken recently on this, I think what the most important thing is to bring back is to bring back the knowledge that you gained, right? To travel into different parts of Qatar, to educate yourself. So, talking about the culture that I experienced, talking about the music that I've heard, sharing that with folks. There's so many different ways through conversation, through fashion, through communications. I think it's just a variety of opportunities to bring back. And folks may focus a lot on the World Cup, the World Cup, the World Cup, but Qatar is so much more than that. And I think bringing that and entering that into the discourse or the conversation about Qatar is really important. And as a diplomat, and having a platform to have my voice heard, and even in small circles as friends, with friends, encouraging folks to come in and to experience the magic and the beauty of this nation.
Marie, that question is so beautiful. I'd like to pass on to Victoria.
Yes, thank you for asking that question. I'm still learning. I've only been here a month, as I said, and I look forward to learning a lot more about the friends and about activities and about everyone who lives here. I think, though, what I will take away is an acknowledgement that yes, Qatar and the United States are different, and that's okay. There are big fundamental differences in culture and in history, and that's something to be celebrated. But we can discuss those differences and work them out as friends and as allies. I think that our country is doing a great job of that so far. We have so many good cultural and political tensions. And I think what I will take away is that Qatar is far away from home, but it's not a home planet. It is people just like us. I've been really inspired by the closeness of Qatari families. That's something that I'll certainly talk about, and I think that a lot of Americans can relate to and will empathize with how important family is. It's not always with the exact same name, but in a way that is really moving and relatable. And I think that's a great starting point, talking about your family and how close you are, and what your family means to you is a great starting point to get to know a person.
Qatar is very far away from Qatar. Qatar area starts nearly 11 US cities. Yeah. You have Sheikh Al-Malika, which is from the United Nations or UNESCO. Okay, would you like to share an experience with us from there? First, quick one. Please.
So, everyone. So, my name is Shahid. So my last 4 days, I went to UNESCO in Paris and had the honor to participate as a youth advocate with education above all, and also as a youth advisor on the Ministry of Sports and Youth. It's been a very good part here at the this very honorable and happy occasion. And I would like to share my experience when it comes to being part of this international platform, actually specifically where the main goal is to reinforce the diverse cultural backgrounds of different communities. Survival of the main topic that we were discussing about is about education and transforming education, and it's something that's being global right now, and it's called Pre-Summit Transforming Education in UNESCO, and the real summit will happen in September with policymakers, decision makers, but at this time in June, it was specifically for you and how as a student step forward in engaging you in policy making, human content. We actually bring from you specifically, parents, teachers, perspectives when it comes to education challenges. We've talked many years about education challenges. We highlighted it, the event, the peace summit, but more specifically, we were discussing what solution, what we can do. And the main thing that we're focusing on is data, accessible data, the importance of data in decision making and policy making, and making it accessible to youth and and community. Also accountability, the importance of accountability, and taking responsibility of any country that violates any kind of policy, specifically speaking, the Security Council resolution 2601 when it comes to conflict zone and the right for a safe environment for education. Personally, I discussed and I reinforced the importance of, they asked the question, if I would change anything in education, and when I said, if I want to reinvent anything in education, I would reinvent curriculums to be more inclusive to communities, cultural backgrounds, and how important it is in a way that we want to enrich the education experience more than remolding people or changing people themselves. So yeah, I think with you, I think it's very important.
You come here in the first. Okay, yeah, you have that.
Hi, my name is Fadi. I'm a consultant for business education. I was born and raised in Texas. I was in Texas. I've been here for almost 10 years. Um, the subject you brought up is very, very important. Uh, we're missing something about the education about the country in the US. In how it's consistent. If everybody thinks the US is just a move. That's not true. You know, there's so much in common. I was the question because, there's so much in common between the US and Texas. Both countries, they hold in their heritage. Like the 4th of July celebration, they go back in history. They dress up the way they used to dress. They serve stuff. It's amazing, the experience. Same thing in Finland. They hold on their country. The whole Dutch area, basically. Finland is the only one still holding with the whole tradition. And, the stuff they do, the food, the dress up. You go to supermarket, you don't see this anymore in the country. Everybody's kind of like become modern by just having high rises, forgetting about the country. So it's very important thing. I'm not doing a lot of talk with you guys education, but as far as country, we can start, some kind of activities or something just to spread more awareness about the American culture, the true American culture. That's the problem. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I certainly would love to help countries who want to learn more about U.S. culture and history to experience that. We do have some programs already in place that I'm sure we'd love to expand. I would actually love to turn that over to our second panelists and ask what you learned about the United States, if anything, in school growing up in Qatar, and then how accurate or not accurate that was in your opinion when you actually went to the United States.
Good point. That's the your question to him. That was the next part. You guys want to know the speed. Well, the next part is going to be take over with the you already done that. So she gets to ask you some other question, and you can take a question for Victoria. So, Yalla.
While you're thinking about it, I can tell you that what I learned about Qatar in school in Massachusetts was very little, if anything. I can remember it, but I can't remember really anything specifically until I got to university level. And I started studying international relations, but I'm very curious if you were in the history of the United States, and then how true was it, or how much did it really represent what you had experienced when you went to the United States?
Definitely. Okay, so in school, we learned about the US, the factual information, the size of the other countries, world history, world conflicts, in college. We took actually American history, but just basics, and of course the experience and what you learn when you actually land in the United States. You get to learn more about the people's history, the how do you call it, folklore, it's actually the everyday culture. The United States is a new country. You know, the cultures are, yes, they're there for a long time, but they're always changing. Media plays a huge role in people's cultures and influences those cultures. So somebody mentioned how the global population, we learn about the United States through its media, and most of it is generalization for the sake of dramatization, for storytelling, and then you see, your expectations become correct. You get shocked. Hey, you guys are not the same as these action hero movies and the larger than life stories.
All like the characters on Friends.
Exactly.
None of us can afford that apartment. It's not the
But honestly, one of the cool things is to actually, I'm living in the United States. I was mostly with students at the time, but one of the unique experiences I had, and I don't know if many have this with my peers, we had a Chicago native who kind of entered our friend group, and he got influenced by guitar culture. So we had the reverse. We were holding on to kind of guitar culture, and he got influenced by it and started speaking guitar with us. And he would use guitar expressions in public, and it was very funny actually, because we would tell him to stop. Nobody understands you here. You're just embarrassing. But this is the beautiful thing is how you import your own culture, and then you see the natives kind of adopting it and welcoming it, and then using it for their everyday life, the expressions, the words, the gestures, even in clothing. Um, all my Qatari friends, we have our Qatari with us, and we made sure to bring a few extras of our friends, and we would see them wear it around, and it's of course it's unusual to see this Asian American man who wears the scarf in a different way. So I like the fusion of culture, this new version of what it means to be multicultural. And I feel like maybe this is not a general experience of many Qataris who live in the United States, but this is kind of my personal experience, and it just opened my eyes to what could be possible. Honestly, that's briefly. I don't know if I answered actually any of the question, but yeah, that's what came to mind.
Me, I was from America. And a lot of people are American, and also like when I the States, they told us we were in summers, and when I was in my work, I was trying to pull our brains, and it's not like a mental or there will be some in New York before I, but also because I was very friendly and directions and always and there was always like very much to very much experience. I think that's the same kind of around Oakland and Williamsburg, that's my character. Yeah, so I rest around the last, and my feet. So I walk around like, maybe wearing clothing. I disappeared before I find the options people are very open and curious and about and have a very like I went to sleep after like when I was like I should do this. It was very like quickly experience.
Particularly at the beginning of Qatari music culture, I believe. And I can only imagine, I see some pictures when you shoot on your Instagram page, or that she showed off in New York, struggling her stuff. That's lovely. Unbelievable. I mean, you can never see it.
Can I add one thing?
Of course you can.
Okay, so you mentioned one of the traditional clothes I remember. So one day in Halloween, I couldn't find something to wear. I actually thought maybe this would be funny to wear my clothes and everything. And nobody had a reaction. Actually, they were just silent. I thought, people would ask me questions, what are you wearing? But everyone was so quiet as if it's, I think they were being respectful. Oh, they don't want to say anything to this guy. But, yeah. And one thing that I learned about the US that I didn't know before, there's a lot of Arabs in the US. That I've seen it everywhere. There's always concentrations, and this is a beautiful thing because you wouldn't feel like like
We see now with World Cup posters by Qatar and USA. It's going to be a pure flag. Yeah? It's got a lovely official FIFA World Cup posters done by MCU alumni. And yeah, so before the end, yeah.
Just want to say, as I know my fellow Americans, I do expect that we will have many American visitors who buy them and do their best to pull them off during their visit here. And I ask for our customers' patience if you know everyone does that correctly, but I'm sure we've done with love and in the
You should do it.
cultural change. But if I know my fellow Americans well, they're going to be guys always the minute they get off the plane and wearing them all around.
We're going to put a song in the box. Obviously, the message of love, because we always need love and peace in our lives, now more than ever. And I'm going to start off with Salman, and then I want to end with Victoria, because I know she has a powerful message for you. And Salman, and then we go to...
so a message of peace for everybody.
yeah, why not? Because we are...
Usually it just speaks for itself, peace. But yeah, we're all human first, so I feel like that is the connection between everybody on earth. So we should kind of humble ourselves and just wish the best for everybody as humans first. Yeah, peace for people.
And I know Samantha like that. So can we put this again?
Well, the message is love and peace. Well, because it does speak a bit for itself, but I'm just so grateful to be here in Qatar, which is such a close friend of the United States. We come to work together on solving so many big problems. Peace is not just it's not passive. It's not just the absence of conflict. It's also the active attempt to resolve the things that are causing problems for people. And I love your activism and advocacy on sustainability and the environment and climate change and things like that and plastics. I think that's really wonderful. And I think peace for me is not just passively not causing problems, it's also actively solving problems together. And so let's keep doing that with all of your big meetup crew and US Embassy and everything else.
Beautiful, awesome, yeah. How about our country American?
Like peaceful and we should like all be connected and one.
Thank you. Samantha, take it away.
All right. Peace and love and unity for me means so much. But to simplify it, I would say it's harmony. Harmony in us all living together, understanding, seeking to understand each other. Doing more listening than we do talking. Trying to understand, right? You're shaking your head, yes. Nodding, it's true. Listening more to connect. And not listening to try to think of what you're going to say next, but to really pause and to hear, active listening, what your colleague, your friend, or a stranger is saying, to really try to understand it. It's also focusing on dismantling stereotypes, I think also playing a role in actively creating love and harmony in this world. And I think one of the greatest things that we have to do that, something so simple as sports, Qatar is going to be seen and has been seen by the entire world, the globe, all eyes on one, right? On sports. And I think that athletes, we have athletes here in the room, are doing a wonderful and powerful job in bringing peace. Sports diplomacy is something that we care we care much about at the Department of State in the United States of America. Sports diplomacy, where athletes are actively taking a stance and trying to bring about peace, social justice, and raising awareness. We've had protests in the United States, in different countries, on a movement, on bringing people together and realizing that we are all equal, no matter what we look like, no matter who we pray to, if we decide we want to pray, what food we decide we want to eat, who we decide we want to love. I think it's really important that we understand that we are all one. And in the words of a non-American, but a very famous man, we realize that every little thing is going to be okay, and we're going to have one love. And with that,
That's a lovely message. Touches our experience. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for your patience, and I hope you enjoyed the 4th of July with people and the US Embassy. And thank you for all tuning in to our virtual YouTube channel and YouTube. And that's a wrap. Happy 4th of July.